you already said it. You are making this product.
Yeah.
So how's production? How does it work?
Yeah. So we not only make, well, when I say we, me, I not only make the skate, I also invented the entire process of how to build it. And we're always tricked by like funds, you know, it is the world we live in, you know, it's not like money falls out of the sky, so we have to work really hard for it. And I love working hard to get to some goal or point where we want to be in life. And yeah, it's been a hassle because basically we designed the first ideas, the drawings for the shell, because basically what I'm talking right now is the shell. So that's the hard part. That's the big investment, how to produce perfect shells, you know, and produce it in-house basically. So first me and Olga agreed on like, okay, so Superleggera, the first one, went really well. Let's step it up. And I said, okay, but I need automotive molds, quality. I want the best, because I did some tests working for some companies and I saw what they had. So I was like, oh, I want this, you know. For me, it's like being a small kid in a candy store. I was like, all these molds, you know, and seeing it, like how it could be better even. Yeah. But so that was, it took us around a year to get the molds finalized basically and the process. Because first step, okay, what can we do? Yeah. First idea is you can go to China, here is a CAD drawing, produce it, give us the mold, aluminium billet block, super expensive. It is this type of process I do not like because it's made for really big like markets, and it's different. So I went into finding out if we could produce molds ourselves with high finish, best quality, and yeah, in the end we did. So we went through maybe 3 to 4 stages with trying out different molds, and then I'm not talking about the shape that came in the end, but different techniques of the molds, and some were really brittle, like they got machined out of like an epoxy block, and it also has to cure the carbon, so basically it has to be heat resistant, it has to be like kind of shock resistant, it has to not absorb the resin, so there's so many variables you have to consider. You know, with the other adapts, it's basically it's a different way. This is a negative mold where we build the shell in to get this perfect weave, perfection, the best carbon you can. We get the carbon from Italy. You know, it's the best of the best basically, and so you need the mold to back it up.
So always like to have the perfect mold in the beginning, not talking about having something of this, but to produce a perfect mold to in the end have a perfect, or the option of a perfect result.
So that's step one, you know, you need to figure it out, and we had some difficulties, some people that worked on the mold with me, like as design wise. Now I'm talking, like this is fully 100% my idea. But sometimes like I can do 3D drawings in SolidWorks and some other CAD systems, but up to a point where do I need to spend all my time in this? And this brought me to a very good collaboration with Jelle Briggeman, which has been amazing, to be honest. Like it was like a godsend, because we were at this point where we were gonna invest so much money into having molds made, and it wasn't the guy before, it was so slow and it didn't happen, and because of it, that's a funny thing, like it was so shitty to work with the previous guy, and he never delivered, and so basically that got me thinking. I was like, we need this, we need it, and then I came up with ideas again, And I came up with an idea like, what if we make it like this? I'm not gonna say how, but and then I was like, whoa.
Okay.
Then I talked to Jelle, and first, like I was like to Jelle, I was like, hey man, like, would you be interested? And he immediately was like, I have to say, me and Jelle, it's been perfect to work with him, and amazing. Just that like he's the guy that you have to see it like this. I see it, and then I have to tell him. And we already had a lot of steps done by me and some other people we worked with. So we had a base, you know, but it wasn't there. We need refinements. And then Jelle just stepped in and was like, first, now we can laugh about it. First he was like, I think I need 300 plus hours, you know, at a good pay, you know, of course we get paid. And I was like, 300. And then without the molds cost, you know, like stuff like this, I was like, okay. Then I said, you know what, Jelle, let's maybe my feedback or input together, we sit here for 1 week behind the computer. Let's make it together and see how that works. Because I wanted the project, he wanted the project, and we wouldn't want to sit like there was going to be a hassle with money in the end. When you like think about 300 times and then maybe you have one mold, we're not sure.
Yeah.
Day 2, we had them all finished. Because of how we worked, Jelle was super good on like reacting to what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I just said, no, this is this. We need to do it like this. Should be easier like this. And he just followed the steps together with me, but he had the knowledge to make it fast and good and perfectionist as well, which I love, you know. Yeah. So it's been a blast to work with him on this project, and there will be more projects with him for sure. So yeah, that was amazing. Then liner. Is it a liner? I don't see it as a liner. It's basically a piece of art sitting inside of a carbon shell. And let's maybe take one that we have here. So it is hours of work shaping, detailing it. Basically every stitch on there is just in the right place. It's full open, it's our own design. We make everything of it in-house. We shape it in-house. It is all done by us and with the eye of it needs to be perfect. And it's fully, this is the first, I would say it's like a structural liner system. It's the first one that works together actually with the shell. So basically this is the shape of the inside of the shell, where in all other skates, let's say it like this, they make like a sort of a sock, like a liner, which is, you know, and sometimes you take out the liner and it's just, what the fuck is it? That annoyed me. I never wanted, like a liner for me is like, why does it have to be so unfinished, so ugly? When you take it out, like all those stitches on the bottom, it's like, who did this? Like, was this legal? The person who was there, were they at the right age to do this? Anyway, that's me. You know, it has to be, when I look at it, this should be on a table.
Yeah, you see every stitch and you make this by hand, and it looks like, when you know that it's made by hand, like you with the machine and doing the stitching, it couldn't be better. Yeah. So you see the perfectionist Peter in exactly this product, because it's
most important,
crazy.
The liner should stand on its own. It's this idea I had. Yeah. It should stand on its own without falling apart. Yeah. It should be like you place it there, and that is the liner. It should have rigidity at the right places. So yeah, that's the liner was. I got really good at it. Yeah. Like you saw me, you were actually there when I was making one. I think it was for you. Yeah. And sometimes it was a struggle, frustration, and mostly because of the layout, how it functioned in the old place. I was like, and I didn't have sometimes the patience. I was like, it needs to be perfect. And then one stitch was wrong. I was like, I kind of want to start over again.
Yeah.
But now the Superleggera SP, the liners are just, it is on another level. There's a couple of features actually that I really love, and that's because of Olga being a pain in the ass. When I'm like, it's done, it's finished, and then I made a Superleggera prototype for her birthday, and she was like, yeah, it's pretty good. And I was like, it's pretty good, what? But she had some really good points, and yeah, it's hard to swallow.
Be honest with yourself.
Yeah. And then I was like, you know what? I'll make it for you. So I tore out the liner and rebuilt the back piece basically, and I made it as well for myself because I always want to test. You know, I want to know. Put it in my skate. Went for a skate. I was like, it's perfect. Kind of went back and said, no. But it was perfect, and it had to do with the heel lock.
Yeah.
So basically, we changed something with the layering of the foam inside, which is this foam is amazing. It is so expensive. It should make me cry. It is. Yeah, we buy it in Holland basically, and it's kind of like semi-produced for us because we can actually tell what we want. And this is one of it needs to heat up like a car, you know, like if you take it out of the car, you put your foot in, it's gonna be okay. Wait 2 minutes until it forms, and it does it every time. So basically, it's a foam that. It feels really rigid, and it is, you know.
I noticed the strap.
Yeah.
Can you tell me something about it?
Yeah, it's so with the Superleggera, the strap is part of the liner, but also part of the shell, basically. So it works different than any other strap on the market because most straps are just with the bolts, even on the normal Adapt. It is bolted on, and it works with the flex of the top. With the Superleggera, this is totally different. Basically, the strap is like working like something that like a sock that wraps it around your foot, and it actually can move within the shell. So it's not stuck to the shell. It's actually stuck to the liner basically, and it moves with every movement you do basically. So it's like very simple design, but it works really well.
Oh, you can take it off.
Yeah, you can.
It's not attached to the.
No, so basically this small piece was a lot of like headaches about. It was the final on the first Superleggera. It was the final step on the lining. And it was so stressful because of the thickness of the padding. We had to stitch it on there, and it could like shift a bit with the needles because it's so thick. And I was always like, what if you break it off? It feels like you're breaking the skate, even if it's very small. It feels like, oh, the skate is broken. It's not a structural piece basically. So yeah, they gave me the idea basically to just fix it on the one piece that is easy to replace, and it is the strap. So it's like, this is the strap. It is the holder strap, but it's also the functional strap to close the skate basically. And yeah, I like it. It's such a nice piece of design where it's so simple and so like when you take a look at it, like even this bracket here is like full aluminium. It is water cut actually, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's just a high pressure water cut, and then it's 7075 aluminium again. So it's
even the
angle. Yeah, the angle. Yeah. It had to be like in a car, you know, like it should look the part, of course. Yeah, but it's amazing. It's such a simple design, but it works like no other. And because of its simplicity, it lasts. You know, it's not really that exposed, so it doesn't need like this big protection piece on the side, because the strap is really sturdy. When you fall on it, it flexes with you, and if something is really strong, for example, worst idea, a full carbon cuff that is with a protective piece, because if you fall on it, basically carbon will like scuff, and so we decided to keep it very minimalistic, and we did add some protection pieces which are also like, it looks good. So we have the on the top, and it's mainly to protect the lining inside from rubbing against the carbon. Has the logo in there, so it's pretty cool. And we also have the sliders, basically on the skate, that are new. In the first series we did like a sort of a rubber tape to protect it, and that was a search to get it right. And then I wanted perfection. So basically when we were creating the mold, we could also use this design to scale basically the sliders on. So we made the sliders, they are 3D printed, highest end, not your regular, and they are actually attached only with double-sided tape, which is a very high-end double-sided tape, and it's really strong, as you know, because you have the sliders as a test, and they didn't come off. You use it, they didn't come off. It's amazing, and it looks so minimalistic, and it's part of the design. So the lines all float like it's a design language. The different styles of black, in the skate is amazing.
You like black?
Yes. We have something in common. No, but it's the difference in texture as well, like liner, inside of the liner, the laces, the protection pieces, it has is like a sole, where how it's built, the leather and stuff like this. So that's pretty cool. And I didn't want any ugly bolts on the side, and it's not lightweight as well, and it's not accurate, and it feels like an add-on for me. And with this, we took it from the start into the process. Let's make it into something cool. You can replace it. It's a nice feature on the skate, basically. And
so it's not only on the like inside and outside, but also on the tops that you have, like this piece I'm holding it right now. It's not only this one protecting.
Yeah, it's also skate. The top. Yeah, exactly.
There's also something.
That's the only one that is with epoxy on the top, so it's glued on there. With heat, we could take it off and replace it, but it's, to be honest, with all the testing we did, it's not a weak point of the Superleggera. But it's a really cool design, and everything is thought about, and the construction of the shell as well. It's like we compared a lot of the data on how people, their feet are, basically. And we took all that data basically into shaping this mold and the liner. And it's actually like, that's why that line, that cool style line, is where the laces are. That's not just there for show. It's basically, it adds a layer. So it's basically the laces go in there, and it gets like flush with the liner, so it doesn't press into the liner.
Let's talk about the shell. Can you?
Yeah, sure. So basically, this is the Superleggera shell. Super lightweight. This even has the bolts in it, so but it's crazy. It looks so delicate, and when you hold it, it's like it looks like it's made out of paper. As how light it is, and you would say it's like that. This cannot be strong. But it is.
It's crazy, and I love the feel. You know that. Also the back part, and this is
exactly. From getting the carbon right to the weave, the how it looks, the feel. That's our own process on how we put the final coating on it, basically. I wanted to have this feeling of like a gritty feeling, basically, but looking really nice, and that's you can hear it. So that's all purposely done. The logo inside is insane. It's a Superleggera logo. Is you cannot feel it.
Yeah, it's not.
It's under all the layers. It's hand sanded, wet sanded until we get it right, and then after we do the final coating, basically. So yeah, same as a SP. It's a difficult one, that one, because it's a small piece basically. Yeah. So sanding there is a bit more difficult.
Everything is perfect, like every.
Yeah, the cutout as well. It's basically it's functional, so it's lighter. But that was not the main target. The target was like with the first skate. A lot of people were like, "Oh, it's a carbon skate. It's gonna be super stiff." It's the opposite, which is crazy. Unless you skated it, you know it's the opposite. You know, it's like because of the liner is built, the amount it sticks out, the way it flexes forward, the way it moves, it's all one unit basically. So yeah, and I took that a bit personal. I was like, okay, you know what? Let's just give them the idea of a cuff being on there basically, but it's the idea.
Yeah.
Funny thing, the Solomon skate never really had a functional cuff. Nobody thought about like that cuff is fully riveted in there, in the back, in the front, and it could only flex like this. Same thing with the shadow skate, you know, and the original one, where it worked, but dimensions, exactly. But then there's the stories. I need a cuff, I need this. So we basically designed it the way that it looks. It looks amazing. It looks amazing and super light, and
it's even lighter because you don't have.
Exactly. Yeah. It's pretty cool. And then this brings me to the inside of the shell. With the first one, we had the mountings were non-replaceable. We never had any issues because we used highest grade of steel basically inside. But I did want to change it, and I also want to make it lighter. So we decided to use our proven Quattro mounting, and it's full CNC machined, also the inside, and they can be replaced, so you can basically take them out. And then if something would happen, like you double threaded or cross threaded or whatever, you could just put a new one in, and your skate will last another, I don't know. But it adds more lightness. There is also like a plate of aluminium built in the carbon in the middle, and we put a special coating on it because aluminium and carbon, they don't go well together actually. So it needs a coating on there before we put it into the carbon. So that's all being done in this one. And then the main thing was, okay, so how do we fix something that we created? We created a problem by adding the removable Quattro mount basically. And that problem is that now you can actually see the mount, whereas in the first one it was all built in, and there was one insole, basically full carbon, perfect shape, no issues, perfect. And now we just created the problem. So that gave a lot of headaches. So like, okay, what to do now? So you've been part of the process in testing, finding results, and it actually gave us a bit of room to play with shock absorbing. You know, when a Superleggera, you land a gap or you try to do stunts with it, it goes straight to the head, basically, which is fine. Yeah. You feel that you're alive, but it is hardcore. So the first one I tested, I placed like different foams inside, and I tried like densities, harder, softer. Soft is never good because you're too mushy. It doesn't fit the skate, and it's never good for any feet because the feet, you always have to adjust all the time, and it gets your feet get tired faster basically.
Muscles have to work.
Exactly, and they age faster as well because of this. So it's better to have something rigid, and this gave me the idea to build in a carbon insole that is fully rigid but can make tiny movements and adjustments. Okay. So I have one over here. And this basically just goes inside of the skate.
Okay.
And it's 12K carbon, 600 grams, couple of layers, so it's really solid, but it can still flex. And this is important because it is all being held in place with a sort of epoxy gel that is also absorbing vibrations and shocks. So this is all done by hand on the carbon, and then basically there's a plastic foil on it to protect it because it's sticky.
Yeah.
And it's not like a silicone, so it's different. But if we place this inside, then basically this will suck like a sort of vacuum inside, and it will stick to the bottom of the skate, fully covering the.
Perfect.
It is fully flat.
Finish.
Well, not flat. It has a raised heel, of course.
Yeah.
But it has the shape of a foot,
yeah.
and it's like it is perfect. And on top of this, you basically then have the insole, which we also use in the GTRs, basically.
Yeah.
That fully just molds onto this one. And it's the perfect combination. So this is a pretty rigid insole, but it is heat moldable, so it takes on shapes. Together with this, the responsiveness of this skate is amazing, because that was one of the points. I didn't want to lose. I want to absorb a bit of shock, but by doing this, you also lose how fast it is, and we didn't lose anything. The opposite direction. To be honest, it made the skate a lot better.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a cool feature, and it's it's the first, I would say, it's like an actual rigid sole that still absorbs and can move within the skate up to a point, and works together with the entire how the skate is built. So yeah, it's amazing. And another point that we didn't talk about was the eyelets. The first one, this first Superleggera, I had issues like a hard shell, placing an eyelet in there, which is made out of metal, and you have to compress in there. It's basically doing the opposite of what the carbon wants, and you're basically creating a soft spot. And if you would only use it with the laser, it would come loose. The metal will come loose. You can see it on some skates where the eyelets pop like the other way around because of the pressure. So I was like, why don't we just get rid of the eyelets? Because basically the carbon is more than capable and strong enough, and also depending on the finish, like it doesn't cut. So I do it by hand, that it's all like sanded down, so the lace goes through, and it saved a lot of weight. Well, a lot. We're talking a couple of grams, which is a lot in Superleggera terms.
It's nothing.
It's nothing. Yeah.
And it looks perfect because you don't have another material going into the carbon. It's just the carbon. Yeah,
and eyelets mostly they tend to, if they get used a lot, they tend to wear in. With Superleggera, we had 2 years of looking at the previous ones. Nothing. It stays the same. So it's it's pretty amazing of how many tech goes into something small like this, and
that weighs nothing.
That weighs nothing. Which is insane. It is weird if we take it out of the mold. Always like, did I put enough layers into this one because it's so light?
And it's crazy to hear that you sand it down the eyelets and you get this kind of finish in a hand built product and share. So
it's amazing. It's different type of skate on the market, to be honest.
Strong. Awesome. What else do we need to know?
I would say that I think we covered quite a lot. To be honest, it is an experience if you buy it, so it is totally different. And this,
so you can buy it.
You can buy it.
Okay.
Not like the first one where it was just me picking out random people. So the people that don't know about Superleggera, first one in short, you had to make a deposit, then you were put on a list. After this, we checked out if you were the right customer for this type of skate, especially because it was a prototype stage, and you should have had the right mindset towards it. And that worked out really well. For this one, we wanted to do it a bit different. It is kind of, it's not limited. It will always be very low production. But the customer, we're still searching for a bit of, how do you say it? We need to make sure that it goes to a good home.
Yeah.
And that we know kind of where it's going. So a lot of people pre-ordered it, so they're on the list and they are getting now their sizing boxes, which brings me to the point. When you pre-order a Superleggera, you basically get sent out a sizing box, which is pretty cool. We put it together, me and Olga. And it's from orthopedic use. You can have a foam box inside. So basically, you put your feet into that foam box, take a picture, send it to us. You have the ruler with it, everything, all the steps, pamphlet where you can check how you should do it, and we go from there. So basically, you pre-order, you pay a deposit of €250. With shipping costs for the box. In the case we wouldn't agree on your size is too big, we cannot build it, your feet really need a bit more attention, so we would have to make a custom mold for you, possible, but we're gonna set you in when we can produce it then for you. That's very important. If you fit into the standard ones, then we will talk about in what time frame we will put you in. So basically we'll have a time slot.
Okay, cool.
Like a build slot basically. Yeah. So we will say like the first 5 customers will be this and delivered this. Okay. Roughly, depending on shipping and whatever. Then we take on the next ones, but there's already a couple of build slots full.
But then it's when I order it, it's not waiting until I know I have a transparency about when my slot.
Yeah, and that's what we wanted to change. With the first one, there was like a waiting. They wouldn't know when I would be finishing it. So I was working on all of them kind of at the same time, and then not on the same time, and then one at a time. With these, we know how it works, production, and you get like the build slot. We talk it over. You do the final payment on the skate, get it set up what you want, we make it for you. Basically, we ship it out to you with all the extras and goodies that it comes with that we're not showing. That's for the customers to explore. And that's basically, we like to keep it always positive with this. So it's a piece of art, basically, and where you can skate on. And that's
therefore you need the contact, because what do you expect? This is only possible to find out if I talk to you. If it's right for me. If it's something that I want, I need to talk to you and find it out.
And it's nice to have this. That's how we got started, and how did I meet you? You came to Winter Clash, we had a talk. And a lot of our customers, that's the relationship we build, and it's pretty demanding to still, after all those years, keep doing this. But we try our best, me and Olga, we reply on every email we get, and that's a lot of work, and doing this as well it's crazy. But it's worth it, and the customers that we do get with Superleggeras is just it's amazing, and we know where they live, which is not a threat. It's more like when we would come over, it's like maybe we would meet up, and that's cool. And sometimes out of a relationship like this, it's customer to the producer or who produces it, and then it could develop, into that's Adapt. Adapt is looking a bit further than just skates come in, we ship it. No, Adapt is more. We care. We truly care about what goes on with the skates and the customer. That's important.
a different experience in the end
Yeah.
that you will have with the skate, and therefore it's important to know what you get and also to get the right size, because for me the special thing and will always be, I think, and I told you like what I'm missing. I found it because it's something, if you have the right size and you get it right, you will slip in and you will not feel that you have something on your feet. You will just go, move, roll, and just have fun, and this is the experience. And that is kind of, when you share an experience like that, it bounds.
It is true. 100% right.
Awesome. Any last words?
Last words? No. I think I'll maybe have another coffee.
That's a good
idea. We'll have another chat maybe